with temperatures in the low to mid-50s and a northwest wind about 10 miles per hour. It'll be partly to mostly clear tonight, maybe some frost by morning, 32 to 37 for the low with light winds. Mostly sunny skies planned for Thursday, the high in the low 60s. A chance of showers late Thursday night into Friday, mostly cloudy Friday, near 60. Jonesboro, that's your KLEK 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Catherine Drew. A 39-year-old woman who opened fire at YouTube's headquarters, injuring 3 people, has killed herself, according to Californian police. Nazim Agdam had expressed anger that YouTube had filtered her videos. The world's chemical weapons watchdog will hold an emergency session at Russia's request, with Moscow wanting the UK to share its evidence about the Russian spy poisoning case. And China has vowed to retaliate after the US published a list of Chinese products it plans to hit with a 25% tariff.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Wednesdays, April 4th, 2018. This is Community Conversations. Kato Wonder is in the studio with you. I am joined by Quabila Jones, and also joining us today is Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. This is the first Wednesday of the month in which Chief Elliott always comes on to the show, and we're certainly thankful for him coming on once again. And joining him is Corporal Shay Racy and Officer, Quabila, help me with this, I lost my notes.
Jamie Seaborn.
Jamie Seaborn, well, thank you for that. And so we're going to go ahead and get into our discussion.
All right, so good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so we have quite a few things to talk about today. Corporal Racy and Officer Seaborn are going to talk about Color Me Dare, their upcoming color run, and I'm sure it's been a lot of fun in the past years. I've seen different pictures and videos and things of people that have attended, so I'm looking forward to getting into that. We're also going to be talking about distracted driving. This is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, so you know, we've had this conversation before about people being on their cell phones at this red light, think they can get away with it, but okay, we need to be a little more responsible behind the wheel. So
Absolutely.
And then we're going to just highlight some other things that the Jonesboro Police Department and FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, have been involved in around the community. So without further ado, let's get into the Color Me Dare event.
Yeah. So thank you guys for having us this morning.
All right.
Yes, the DARE program, Jonesboro Police Department DARE program, we're going to be having a what's called Color Me Dare. It's a 2-mile color run, walk, crawl, jog, whatever you want to do. It's an untimed event, and Officer Seaborn and I will be putting that on at Joe Mack Campbell Park, April the 21st, which is a Saturday. It'll start at 9. The race will start at 9. And it'll take about an hour, so about from 9 to 10, and then we'll have refreshments afterwards. We'll have some hot dogs and hamburgers and that kind of stuff, and something to drink to kind of encourage the fellowship after the race.
All right, so let's talk about, you know, every year you try to encourage people to dress up and, you know, make it really fun. What are some of the costumes you have seen in the past years?
Well, last year was our first year for the color run, so this is our, I guess, will be our second annual color run, and it was successful last year, and it was a whole lot of fun. So we thought we'd bring it back this year and do it again. Last year of course we encouraged people to dress up, but last year we saw a few ladies that came out in tutus, and so that was pretty cool. And the race, if you pre-register by the 10th, then you are guaranteed a shirt that we designed, and it's a shirt that's built for this particular race. Okay. And it's a white shirt, so we can see all the color once you get it splashed on you when you run around. But everybody, so most of the people had those shirts on. It's a pretty fun deal, And the beginning of the race, we'll have Miss Nancy Owens, who's a life coach and personal trainer over at St. Bernard's Health and Wellness. She'll do a warm-up, a Zumba-style warm-up, and then we'll send everybody. Everybody will do like a color packet blast off, which they throw their color in there, and it makes for a pretty good photo op.
Wow.
And then we'll start the race, and everything's all good.
We got a Facebook shout out. Shout out to David Carnes, who says, proud of our JPD officers and blessed to have a chief that is active in our community. Thank you to KLEK for always keeping us up to date on our community activities, and big thank you to Officer Racy and Seaborn for overseeing the DARE program.
Right on.
Right.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David.
All right, so let's talk about registration and cost, and then the deadlines for all that.
Yes, ma'am. So to register, you go to online at raceroster.com, or you can come up to the police department and get a hold of me and get a hold of one of these sheets that we're looking at right here. They've actually got the registration info on them and on the back. But the easiest way to do it is go to raceroster.com. It's $25 per participant. Kids 12 and under is $15, and then you can do a family of 5, and it's $60. So that would be the way to go. Get you and several cousins together and and do that $60 registration. It's that's you get the most bang for your buck that way. So.
This is a family fun event.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
if you're looking for something to do, gather all the kids together, create a team from kids in the neighborhood, whatever your choice.
Right
you
on.
know, let's go out, have some fun, support the DARE program, because you all give back to the community. So tell people what you actually do.
Yes, ma'am. So the DARE program, and again, myself and Officer Seaborn, we're both really new at this, and I've been doing it just a little bit over a year, and this is his first year in. Officer Lawson and Faust did it for 15 plus years, and now they left it to us, and left it in good hands, I believe. But as far as the program itself, you know, we provide the DARE curriculum to 5th graders in every school in the city of Jonesboro, in our city limits, and so that's roughly 1,100 kids. And so we teach a 10-week program that's about making good decisions and risking consequences, and saying no to drugs and violence. You know, all kinds of stuff. We're dealing with stressful situations. We do a lot with that program. We've actually also created our own portion of that program this semester, where we also teach the kids about other drugs that DARE doesn't include in the curriculum. So we've stretched it out a little bit, and I think it's been pretty successful. And so that's what we do. That's what we teach on a regular basis. And then we also do some other community outreach stuff. We'll come out and cook at events and try and come and speak on other issues with whether it be internet safety or distracted driving, or whatever else it is that we can do to help the community. That's what we do.
Well, we're definitely going to try to get you all for June 16th for our event, and we'll give more details about that
Awesome.
a little bit later. So let's talk about, one thing before I go into distracted driving. I want to definitely talk about, I'm sure you all have to stay on top of your research when it comes to these new drugs and different things that kids are using to, I hate to say get high, but that's exactly what it is. Alter their mindset. And it's sad that you have to start at that age level of teaching them about these things.
That's right.
Yeah, Officer Racy and I, we really learned a lot just looking this stuff up. Because, especially, vaping, I didn't have a clue what all these kids could vape in those things. So we really learned a lot. So.
Wow. So I guess they are finding ways to be creative, and unfortunately vapes are legal, so they can get their hand on the actual whatever it is called, and then put whatever they want in it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so one day we're just going to have you all come back and do a whole show about some of the research that you have found, so that we can help the community be more informed on what's out there.
Be glad to.
So they can be looking out for their kids more, hoping to help keep them away from that stuff. So,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. So again, this is the Color Me Dare program event, Saturday, April 21st, 2018, from 9 a.m. The run starts from 9 a.m. to 10. The food and fun starts from 10 to 1, and this is at the Joe Mack County Park. Register your family. Go to raceroster.com or go by the Jonesboro Police Department on Caraway Road.
Yes, ma'am. Can I plug my sponsors just real quick?
Go ahead, please.
We've got some awesome sponsors for this Color Me Dare. We had sponsors last year, and they all, I think, with the exception of one, signed back on this year to sponsor this program or sponsor our Dare Run. So First Community Bank and Alexander's Machine Shop are two of our two major sponsors, and then we've got others like Target, Full Sun, Fergus Space Dental, Mid-South Sales, and Ben Ford State Farm. All of these, I mean, it was just, hey, are you guys going to help us out again this year? And it was not a hesitation on whether they would. And so, big shout out to those guys that or those businesses and those individuals that are making are dedicated to helping our program out.
And like we always say here at KLK, go to these businesses and just tell them thank you for what they do for the community by helping out with this program.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right. Again, this is Community Conversations on KLK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with
Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott, Corporal Shay Racy, and Officer Jamie Seaborn. I got my notes now, so.
Okay. Had a brain freeze for a moment.
Well, hey, I had mine early during the show, so it is all good. And of course, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. Or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed.
All right, so we're going to transition into our next topic, distracted.
Oh, and we do have Facebook shout out to Samantha Harrison. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, no problem. Thank you everyone who's watching and listening. Drop us your questions or comments. We want you to be engaged in the conversation. All right, so distracted driving. I haven't looked up traffic reports, but I'm sure that some of them include distracted driving. So tell us more about, what you all have been seeing, what's going on, and how can we lower these numbers?
I think the biggest thing is people with their cell phones, being out. And a lot of people don't realize that, if you're sitting there just scrolling Facebook on your phone, well, that's distracted driving, and you can actually get a citation for that. But and you just see so much of it now that it's, and with traffic being heavy, sometimes officers have trouble getting over there, but they can see it happening, and a lot of accidents happen because of it.
So we might have to get with the analyst, the crime
analyst,
and look at these numbers again to see what's going on. Okay, so have the officers been able to get out and about and do foot patrols? I know the weather has been cold and rainy and different things like that, but do you plan to get back out and start doing some more foot patrolling?
Well, hopefully. I mean, our numbers, we're about 10 officers short right now, so with the shortages, that kind of puts a damper on some of our special activities. But we would like this spring and summer to mainly get the bicycles back up and running and get them back out for the summer.
Okay.
Y'all think y'all ever get the segways like they have on ASU, like their PD has?
I would actually like to have a couple of those because we have different events around town that they would come in handy. And we found that there is some grant funding opportunities out there to offset the cost of those. So that may be something we look at down the road.
All right. And after a while, the police they catch you in the car, bike, Segway. And I've even seen a motorcycle car.
We do. We have 4 motorcycle officers. So, we run marked units, unmarked units. We get out and we try to blend in and enforce the law. So, you really never know what we're going to be driving or what our mode of transportation may be for the day. So we just encourage everybody to, stay off the phone.
What about horseback?
Pay attention to your driving. No, we don't have horses,
but that would be pretty cool, though.
It would be very cool, but
downtown,
not enough won't get enough use to justify the cost and expense of keeping horses. Some of the bigger cities, they do have them, and there's a big advantage to a horse. Of course, the officers are elevated up where you can see over the crowd in situations, and then if you need to move a crowd, you can have that horse to kind of walk sideways and push the crowd for you.
Yeah, because people are going to get out of the way of a horse.
Absolutely. If you ever been stepped on by a horse, you know.
Well, I haven't. I once saw a dog get kicked by a horse. It didn't end well for the dog. The dog kept biting at the horse's hoof, and well, like I said, it didn't end too well for the dog.
Oh goodness. All right, so based on just some of your personal observation, is it more younger drivers or does it just vary across the board?
It is all ages across the board.
Okay.
You can sit at an intersection and watch the people at the red light, and it's amazing how fast people can text and get on and text and get on there and check their Facebook and do everything. And it's all ages.
Like, what did we do before we had cell phones?
Paid a little bit more attention to our driving and had less wrecks.
Have you had an opportunity to look at past statistics and research?
Well, I mean, when we start seeing our accident rates going up and up, and contributing factors are distracted driving, so we know it's a problem, and that's why 2 years ago we had this big saturation at the intersections during around 5 o'clock. Just catching people distracted driving and writing tickets. Because at that point our accident rate had gotten well over 300 a month on street accidents. So, we really had to crack down because, accidents affect everybody. They affect you and me and our insurance premiums.
Yes.
So, but more important, the safety of the individuals on the road, So if somebody not paying attention, we've had some serious and sometimes fatal accidents from this, and, we have to do what we can do to slow it down. Now, with all that being said, I think with our efforts and a little bit more education out in the community, our accident rates have actually come down below 300. So it's getting a little bit better, but yeah, it is very high. But you look at the amount of traffic in Jonesboro, and Jonesboro, we're 82 square miles of city limits, so we have a lot of roadways in our city limits, and we have a lot of traffic. During the average day, there's well over 100,000 people in this town, and so that's a lot of folks, and people experience that at noon and 5 o'clock when they're trying to go to lunch or go
or 7 o'clock in the morning trying to get here.
7 in the morning, it's so we have a lot of traffic, and those peak hours, it's really critical that people just stay off the phone because between noon and 6 is our peak time for accidents.
And some may not even know that if you're under 18 that you can't even be on a cell phone to make phone calls.
Really?
At all. You can't be on the phone unless it's an emergency situation. You can't even talk on the phone. And then
even with a hands-free device.
Well, 18. Not if you're under 18, you can't. And then if you're like 18 to 20, you can use a hands-free device.
I'm glad I'll be 40 in about
a
week and 2 days.
So 21 and over can still talk on the phone. It's. But as far as you can't do it in school zones or work zones.
We have another Facebook shout out to J.E. Hollywood III. Appreciate you for checking in on our Facebook live feed.
I have a question. I don't know if you see this as much now. Back in my day, guys like to drive lean back. Do you still see some of that?
Hold on, let me paint this picture. The seat, in the box Chevy with the seat so lean far back you can't even see them. I'm like, you can't even see them above the steering wheel.
Do you still see some of that on the roads today?
I don't think I have in quite a while.
I think I get accused of that. Some.
You telling on yourself?
I said I get accused.
He gets accused, but he's
vertically challenged.
So sometimes he just sits low. But,
all right. But in all seriousness, people, we need to really start putting the phones down. That notification can wait till you get to your destination and get out of your car, stop your car in a parking lot somewhere. If it is an emergency, pull over, find the nearest, place where you can pull over to handle that. situation. There's so many people on the road that we need to be mindful of each other. And like she said, it raises your insurance premiums. I mean, who wants to pay an extra $100 or extra whatever per month because of someone else's stupidity?
Yeah. But more important, we don't want to have to see a child or somebody buried because of somebody, messing around on the phone. There's nothing that important that cannot wait to risk your life or someone else's life to be out here texting and driving. And so we don't like making those notifications that somebody's died in a motor vehicle accident.
I know the investigation may still be going on, but there was a fatal accident Monday, and based on the report, it said that the young lady crossed the center line. So I don't know if you have all the details of what. No,
that one's still in the investigative state, so we don't want to comment on it just yet. But so
we'll just leave that alone.
Till they get through with it. We really don't know what happened.
But unfortunately, you have seen other accidents similar that was a result of someone either not paying attention. Like, I took a defensive driving class, and we had to look at the screen. There was someone standing by the road, and they told us to close our eyes for like a few seconds and open them again, which was resemblance of an example. Say we look down on the phone or look down to turn the radio, whatever the case may be, how quick it can be to hit someone.
Sure.
Well, they said a car can travel like the length of a football field in like a couple seconds. Something to think about. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more. This is Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for ways to motivate your child? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Most kids have to be told more than once to do things. They have to be constantly reminded over and over to clean their room, be nice to their siblings, or finish their homework. After all of this, it's no wonder parents are exhausted. This problem that all parents face is the problem of motivating their children. But with the help of Dr. Scott Turansky, this problem can be solved. So to motivate our kids, Dr. Turansky first recommends we create consequences that are designed to motivate our children when they make mistakes. Second, we must transform our child's guilt into self-motivation that encourages them to be wiser the next time. To hear my full exclusive interview with Dr. Turansky, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a non-profit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Now it's even easier than ever to support KLEK 102.5 FM. If you love what we do and want to support us, you can now donate by simply sending a text message. That's right. All you have to do is text the keyword GIVE to KLEK to 844-544-7171. Once again, text the keyword GIVE to KLEK to 844-544-7171 to make your donation. And don't worry how to spell it. Either way you spell it, whether using the number 2, letter T-O, or T-O-O. If you text GIVE to KLEK to 844-544-7171, you will be able to make your tax-deductible donation. We're your community radio station where it's all about your life, your music. Don't forget, text GIVE to KLEK to 844-544-7171.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
Stark's Auto Plaza at 2829 Red Wolf Boulevard is a proud KLEK supporter, offering luxury pre-owned vehicles sold wholesale to the public. At Stark's, we never say no. 870-203-9980. Details at starksautoplaza.com.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Work. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
House of Details, located at 3217 Herb Street, Suite C, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle: waxing, clear coat protection, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more. With a motto of, anything mean, we can clean. Details available via Quentin Bogard at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and houseofdetailsjonesboro.com.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest, Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott, Corporal Shay Racy, and Officer Jamie Seaburn, talking about the Jonesboro Police DARE program and several of the other things going on with the Jonesboro Police Department.
All right, so I want to highlight a few activities that took place that some of the officers were involved in. As we know, last weekend was Easter weekend, so saw some officers out and about in the community. Tell us more about that.
Sure. Our local Fraternal Order of Police chapter hosted a Easter egg hunt at the Miracle League field for the children with special needs. Okay. That's something FOP has done for years. The past several years, it's been focused mainly down at the Miracle League for kids with special needs, but I guess ever since I've been in the police department 25 years, FOP has always put on an Easter egg hunt in the community. And, we used to do it out at the Southside Softball Complex and some of the big fields out there. And, at one point in time, we were putting out over 40,000 eggs.
Goodness. Real eggs or plastic eggs?
No, it's plastic eggs.
Okay.
I'm about to say, dang, a lot. Y'all clean out every grocery store in town.
No, big old pot. We'd have to get a tractor trailer load to bring these eggs in. But anyway, this is something FOP has done for years. But like I said, the past few years they've refocused and doing something special for the kids with special needs out at the Miracle League field.
Okay, all right, and then I want to highlight Officer Doyle, who went around with the assistant superintendent for the Jonesboro Public Schools and did some safety assessment.
Yes, Actually, we've done safety assessments in all the schools in Jonesboro. Police department works well with school superintendents, and long before these most recent things have taken place, we've already been looking at schools and making them, trying to figure out ways to make them safer. And so this is just part of an ongoing process that we routinely go into schools and look at what they have and if anything needs to be changed and things like that. So again, we have a great relationship with the superintendents. I've met with all the superintendents just a few weeks ago, and just kind of reiterate that this what we're trying to do and make sure we're on the same sheet of music, and we all agree that the protection and the safety of the children is the number one thing that's the most important. So we want to create a positive learning environment for our kids, but we also want it to be a safe environment for these kids, and we don't want parents have to worry about their kids' safety while you send your child to school that day. So we try to do everything we can to ensure that these kids have a safe learning environment.
Okay. Our SROs, Jonesboro police officers.
Yes, we have SROs in all of our school districts here in Jonesboro, and they're on campus every day and working very closely with the teachers and administrative staff of each school. But more important, these officers are building a relationship with these kids. Mm-hmm. So it's a good thing, and these kids learn to trust these officers, and they'll ask officers questions, and if somebody was planning to do some wrongdoing, we would hope that one of these kids would approach their SRO officer, and tell them about it. But just as important, these DARE guys, they're in the schools every day also.
Okay.
And they're building bonds with these kids, and so the police presence is in the schools, but we want it to be a positive experience for these kids. Too many times, everybody views the police as the one out here writing tickets and putting people in jail, but our goal is one, gain compliance on people with the laws. Obey the law. You won't have any issues with us. And then two is we're here to protect and serve the community. And you have a dedicated group of men and women that risk their lives every day for people out here that in the community, and they don't get a whole lot of thanks and praise for it. But when bullets start flying, we'll run to it, and everybody else is running away from it. So it takes a special kind of person to do that day in and day out.
With there being some concerns for school safety and with the different school shootings that have taken place just this year, has there ever been talks of having, say, retired officers, retired military personnel be an extra presence in the school?
No, I mean that's kind of talked across the country. If you're going to bring somebody in as additional security, then I think they're going to have to go through a lot of training. Just because they've had military training or police training, you got to make sure they're physically fit and physically able to run and get to where they got to go. If somebody's retired at the age of 60 or 70, that may not be the person you need to run across campus. So there's multiple schools of thought on that, and it's like arming teachers. Not opposed to it, but if you have the right teacher that has the right mindset and has the right training, it's probably a good thing. And then if you just don't want to hand a gun to somebody, because that gun is a huge liability. Once that bullet leaves the barrel, that is a liability, and if you don't hit what you're aiming to hit and hit somebody wrongfully, then you're liable, and you could be held criminally liable and civilly liable, and face jail time for wrongfully shooting somebody.
And I want to use that to transition into something else, since we're talking about things going on around the country. This is an article that Quabila had brought to my attention, and I'm going to just kind of summarize and then read a bit of it. It's a proposed law in California that concerns officers and the use of deadly force. And I'll just start at here where it says, the standard gives very broad discretion for using deadly force. It doesn't mean that there has to be a threat. If a reasonable officer could have perceived a threat and responded with deadly force, then it's legal. The proposed standard, this is the proposed law that they're proposing in California, could require officers to delay confronting a suspect they fear may be armed until backup arrives, for instance, or to give explicit verbal warnings that the suspect will be killed unless he or she drops a weapon. Officers may also have to first engage in de-escalation techniques or try non-lethal weapons if possible before shooting. The proposed bill would also make it clear that the use of deadly force wouldn't be justified if the officer's gross negligence contributed to making the force necessary. It would open officers who don't follow the stricter rules to discipline or firing, or sometimes to criminal charges. The ACLU says California would be the first state to adopt such a standard, though some law enforcement agencies, including San Francisco, have similar, even more restrictive rules. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts about this. This was in response to the incident where the young man, and let me scroll up, what was his name? An incident, okay, so you can't know about it.
Our use of force, our use of aggression policy, to use deadly force, you have to, when you using deadly force, you're using it to protect yourself or another person from serious physical injury or death. So, the policy is strict, and we have a use of force continuum, and that, when the officer is approaching somebody, we start out with verbal commands, and then it goes up to non-lethal, and then, and in that category, you've got your taser, batons, the canines, and then if that doesn't work, then it can transition to the use of deadly force sometimes. But if you pull up on a scene and the suspect is firing a gun, that is not a time to use a taser. If so if they write the law as such that you have to go through all these, if they can make it mandatory that you go through all these steps before you fire your weapon, then you're risking lives, the officers' lives and the people that's around lives. Because if you're being threatened and we arrive on the scene and somebody's fixing to shoot you, and I have to say, well, I'm going to try to tase you first, and if that doesn't work, then, we're going to do something else, and before we take out the suspect, you're already dead. Okay? So the once that person has a weapon and has made a threat upon another person or an officer, then those other options are off the table. So now in this particular situation, the officers are telling these people, show me your hands. And there are too many cases across the country. You have individuals that are being placed under arrest, and the officer saying, "Show me your hands, show me your hands." And they may pull out whatever, but when they're coming out, if they've already been confrontational with that officer, they've already had a chase, they've already had whatever, and when they come out with something in their hand, that officer is trying to assess, is that a weapon or what is that? And he's got maybe 1 or 2 seconds to make an assessment before he decides to do what he thinks he needs to do. And that's where a lot of these cases, people understand how it's playing out in court. It's what a reasonable person would perceive at the time of that incident. So sometimes these officers, they're found not guilty of these charges. Well, when the jury looks at it, was that reasonable? If the lighting is low and you see something in your hand, you can't define what it is, and the officer made a decision. If 12 people said, we understand what the officer's thoughts were, and we perceive that as being reasonable, then that's where you end up with that situation. So again, these officers have to make decisions in split seconds. And what is being held in their hand, is it a weapon or is it not a weapon? Does that pose a threat to me or does it not? So it's based on their experiences, their training. So it's a difficult task. As you had gone through during the CPA class, we put you in these situations and you're making split-second decisions. And the rest of us across the country will take the next weeks and months and years to analyze it, critique it, and Monday morning quarterback it and criticize and whatever. But, put yourself in that position. You got 2 or 3 seconds to make a decision. You going to shoot or not shoot?
Well, and it's one of the reasons why I've always told people, especially, police detractors, to take the course. Even if you don't agree with police, and the purpose is for you to at least be exposed to it, get an understanding of it. If you go through the program and you still don't like police, that's fine. At least you've been exposed to it.
Right.
We do have some more Facebook shout outs. Shout out to Dan Passmore, who says, "Hi Jamie, 2 good men that care." David Carnes says, "Same thing with concealed licenses. I think everyone should take a class to understand the laws and consequences of carrying and using that weapon." And Facebook shout out to Victoria Evans.
So since you brought up the concealed license, let's get into that a little bit. Concerning, there's been a lot of talk, especially after the school shooting in Florida. There's been a lot of talk and demonstrations concerning, regulations on obtaining guns of different calibers. How do you feel about as an officer, what types of guns should be allowed on the streets, or I don't really particularly care for guns, so.
Well, let me say, obviously the debate that we're having in this country is, on one end you have people who feel like we have the Second Amendment, and the Second Amendment gives us the right to own weapons, and some people have interpreted that to mean I can own any weapon that I so choose. And then you have people on this side say, well, no, we need to have some restrictions on what people can have. People can have the right to defend themselves, but do you really need these kind of weapons? And it's kind of interesting because, like the First Amendment, we've come to the understanding that we have restrictions on the First Amendment. We have slander laws, we have libel laws, the old adage, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. But there are some people who take the position that when it comes to the Second Amendment, that there should be no restrictions. So, and if that is true, then theoretically, why couldn't somebody have a nuclear bomb or a tank or an aircraft carrier or a fighter jet? This is a hypothetical situation. If the Second Amendment is truly a right that is not to be infringed, then at what point do you draw the line on what kind of weapons you may have? But as officers, again, you all have to confront these people that may have any kind of these weapons. You're the ones that get called on to deal with them. So I just want to kind of get everyone's thoughts on the table.
Well, it's not about the gun, it's about the person behind the gun. And all this problem begins at home. There are millions and millions and millions of firearms out there, and so you say, well, one caliber is worse than another. They're all deadly. Anything from a 22 to 30-06, they're all deadly. You put them in the hands of somebody that has mental issues, there's your problem. It's not the gun, it's the person behind the gun. So, the debate now is, assault-style weapons are bad. Well, you know what? There's only a small percentage of shootings involve any kind of assault-style weapon. Shotgun is far more deadly in those situations than an assault weapon, because you're spraying shot, hitting multiple people with one shot. So this debate is, will go on, and I'm not saying I'm not fond of banning any kind of assault weapon. That's not the problem. The problem is the kid or the adult that's got mental problems. And as a country, we're not spending enough money on dealing with people with mental problems. And we've got to. If they have an issue, then they need to be flagged in a system across the country where they can't buy guns. And that's a big part of the problem. The feds need to step up and impose some restrictions. We have gun laws on the books, and yeah, we do have laws on possessing certain kinds of weapons. So you're not going to have a nuclear bomb or anything like that. But 80% of guns, in the country, or any shootings on a daily basis or a weekly basis, the biggest part of these shootings are people protecting themselves. You don't hear about people using a firearm to protect themselves day in and day out. There's more of that than there is more of people committing crimes with guns. And as you see, the crime rates in a lot of areas have gone down because people are tired of being victimized, and they've taken up concealed carry and protecting themselves. So as the debate goes on, more people are tired of seeing people victimized, and they're taking the classes and they're getting concealed weapons, and and the end result is, I think you're seeing some of your crime rates go down because some of the criminals fear of being shot if they do something stupid.
But do you feel that there needs to be more regulation on? Yeah, regulation.
Well, we've got regulation. We've got laws on guns, gun-free zones. There are laws upon laws that already exist.
I mean, as far as who can actually, like you mentioned before, having a system in place where someone can be flagged. So
there's been resistance to that. I think that's what the problem is. I mean, when someone proposes,
that's the issue right now. Is there's resistance of flagging somebody and putting them in a system, and there's already a law in the book. If you've been mentally adjudicated as mentally incompetent, you can't possess a firearm. That's been on the book for years. But the thing is, if you've been mentally adjudicated as incompetent and you don't qualify to possess a firearm, then what database is there that's cross-referenced before you buy a firearm? And it's not. And that's the problem. That's it's just like if certain domestic violence, get domestic violence convictions, you're gonna lose firearms rights. As soon as the newest thing that's fixing to hit the state is the medical marijuana cards. Okay, everybody's all in line about getting their medical marijuana card, but guess what? You're giving up your gun rights, your ownership rights. So all that needs to be going to a database.
So if someone possesses a medical marijuana card, prescription card,
because
they lose their rights.
It's still illegal on federal level. We got about less than 50 seconds. Officer Racy or Officer Seaburn, you want to add anything to what Chief said?
I'd probably be one of the guys that say, as a responsible gun owner, to make sure you lock it up and don't leave it in your vehicle, because then it gets in the wrong hands, and then, people do bad things with it. So, just make sure, take care of your stuff.
Officer Racy?
No, I definitely agree with Chief and Jamie both. I do also think that there should be a database. I think that's probably one of the major things that's missing is the ways that people can obtain guns legally. If a person-to-person sale goes on, then that right now you don't have to track that, and so there's things such as that need to change.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Definitely a good discussion. That's what we're here for at KLK, to have these discussions, to ask these questions, to get these viewpoints out there. Let all sides of the story be heard. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Technology giant Apple Inc. has been ordered to pay at least $32.5 million in consumer refunds to settle Federal Trade Commission charges that it billed parents for items their children purchased in mobile apps without their permission. The FTC says Apple failed to alert parents that entering a password would result in approval of up to 15 minutes of unlimited in-app purchases. Parents were unaware of the charges, which mostly consisted of payments for virtual currency used in games. This currency can cost anywhere from $1 to $100 per charge. One unlucky parent discovered her daughter had spent $2,600 on one app. Apple responded to the complaints it has received by agreeing to adjust their billing practices. The company will take measures to make sure it has obtained proper consent from consumers before charging them for items sold in mobile apps. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Full Sun Gifts, celebrating their 1-year anniversary throughout April, is a supporter of KLEK. Full Sun Gifts is located at 606 Southwest Drive in Jonesboro and offers a variety of gift items for all occasions. Full Sun will host the Scout Bag Trunk Show April 12th and 13th and the Alley and Bird Jewelry Trunk Show April 20th. More information is available at Full Sun Gifts on Facebook and Instagram and 870-974-8480.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Hey ladies, it's Nettie Jones, the girlfriend's therapist. I'm here with my girls, Elise Lyles and Brianna Hill.
The Fab Squad.
Tune in this week for our featured bad woman of color. She's bold,
audacious,
and determined. She's a bad,
shut your mouth,
woman of color. So tune in this week from
10 to 11
right here on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You don't want to miss it. Tell a friend.
Check out Melvin Williams of the Williams Brothers every Sunday morning from 5 to 7 a.m. here on KLEK for the Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, playing the very best in quartet and inspirational gospel music that you'll love, as well as feature interviews with all of your favorite gospel artists. It's Melvin Williams Down Home Gospel Radio Show, Sundays from 5 to 7 a.m. on KLEK 102.5 FM.
The Epic Center, located at 1899 Hasbrook Road, County Road 333, is Jonesboro's newest venue for entertainment for the entire family. They offer an auditorium with theater-style seating for up to 1,100 guests, a large stage, professional lighting and sound, dressing rooms, concessions, and more. Available for weddings, concerts, pageants, birthday parties, showers, and more. Booking and other information is available at Epic Center Jonesboro on Facebook, epiccenterjonesboro.com, and at 870-530-5841.
Hello, my name is Quabila. I am over 40 and trying to live my best life possible, but I have secondary lymphedema. It has truly altered my life. The most frustrating part of this is that it went undiagnosed and improperly treated. After enduring several surgeries, I was told in a nonchalant way that maybe losing weight will help. I urge you to listen to your body, do your research, and talk to your doctor. Don't waste time on getting the help you need now.
At 33, a wife of 17 years and 3 children, my name is Kara Maxwell. I was diagnosed with lymphedema after the treatment of breast cancer. Learning about the lymphedema diagnosis is on the rise in the medical community, although there's the least interest of research. Learning I had lymphedema inspired me to become an advocate. Be aware.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK with our guest from the Jonesboro Police Department. Chief Elliott had a meeting to attend to, so he had to step out. But we still have Corporal Shay Racy and Officer Jamie Seaborn of the Jonesboro Police DARE. And we're definitely glad that they are still with us in the studio today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, so we're just going to wrap up conversation and touch on a few things. So go back over the information for the Color Me Dare and then talk about testing and CPA.
Okay, so I'll start with Color Me Dare. Again, it's our second annual Color Me Dare run. It's going to be at Joe Mack Campbell Park on April 21st from 9. The race is from 9 to 10, but we'll be there from probably 8:30ish for registration until the last person leaves, because we're going to have food and drink and refreshments afterwards. So we encourage you to stay in fellowship afterwards, and we'll have some music too. So it'll be a fun time, and we definitely want to encourage people that sign up to dress to impress, whether it be tutus or if you want to wear a mask or something to keep the like a Superman mask or something to keep the color out your face. You're more than welcome to do that. It's a 2-mile. It's only a 2-mile trek around. I say only, it's a 2-mile trek around the Joe Mack Campbell Park, and it's a run or walk or crawl or jog or however you want to finish it. It's not a timed event. We're there to have fun, and family participation is definitely encouraged. And the registration fees will be the adults will be $25. Kids 12 and under 15, and then a family of or a group of 5, not necessarily a family of 5, but a group of 5 for $60. And the registration we want you to register at raceroster.com. And if you go there, click in or type in Jonesboro, it'll pull up the race. It'll pull up the races available in Jonesboro, and it's the Color Me Dare race. Also, you could go to our Facebook page, which is Jonesboro Police Dare, and there's a couple of links on our Facebook page that'll take you to that page. And so, if you've got questions or anything like that, Facebook Messenger or anything like that, you can post on our page, and we'll get back to you.
And we got a couple more Facebook shout-outs. Dan Passmore says Jamie has been involved in scouting for over 10 years and does a great job. And looks like we're already into our wrap-up. Let me get some more likes. We got Cassie Brandon, and see who else we got. I think that's... trying to pull them all up. Oh, Cassie Brandon, David Carnes, Victoria Evans, J.E. Hollywood III, and Samantha Harrison. So we got 2 minutes, gentlemen. Police testing, CPA, any final comments?
Oh, Dan Passmore's a great guy. The police testing, I'm kind of helping the chief out there, but the police testing, you can go get an application, and now they're testing pretty much once a month. I think it's the first Friday of every month. Okay. So if you've got an interest in it, go put an application in. We're needing some people, so if you've ever thought about it, come try it out.
Alrighty. And the CPA classes are going on now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're going on I believe on Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday nights. And there's another class coming up in the fall, I believe Chief said. So,
okay. So usually I think Sergeant Waterworth at the police department, you can holler at him, and he can get you the information you need.
All right, so for more information, go to the Jonesboro Police Department's Facebook page, website, the DARE's Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And there's so much going on around the community. The police are trying to be more involved and more engaged, and help them in their efforts to be more engaged with you and your family. So.
Wow.
And I just want to echo that sentiment. I know we live in a time in which there is great mistrust between police and the community. And of course, we can't speak for every community in the country, but here in Jonesboro, the police department is trying to reach out to the community. So, give them an opportunity. And of course, respect goes both ways. The officers have to respect the community, and the community has to respect the officers, and everyone has to respect each other in order for us to heal and to come together as a community. And that's what we try to do here at KLEK. We invite the officers to come on this platform and give you the opportunity to ask them questions, to let them know your thoughts and concerns, to make this city a better place. May God keep and bless each and every one of you. Don't forget, this is all Gospel Wednesday, so The gospel music is going to be playing all the way up until 8 o'clock tonight for you to get your praise on. Have a great and blessed day. This is KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK LP, Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas.